Parshas Pinchas, Bnos Zelophchad, and FOMO, fear of missing out. In this week's Sedra, we have two mentions of 5 special ladies, the daughters of Zelophchad. Their names are repeated twice in Parshas Pinchas and once again and at the end of Parshas Moshe, the end of the book of Bamidbar. Their names are Machla, Noah, Chogla, Milcah, and Tirzah. The order isn't always the same, and the Gemara Sanhedrin Kuf Kaf teaches us Bnos Zelophchad Shekulos Hoyu, that the daughters of Zelophchad were equally amazing, and that's why their names are not written in the same order every time. They approached Moshe and the leaders, saying, "Our father died in the wilderness and he had no sons," and they asked for a possession in the portion of their father's brothers. They came to Moshe and they said to him, "Lomo yigara shem avinu mitoch mishpachto ki ein lo ben." Why should our father's name be left out? Why should it disappear from his tribal family just because he didn't have a son? Tana lanu achuza besoch achei avinu. Please give us, his daughters, a plot amongst the land of our father's brothers. Moshe knew that Zelophchad's daughters were entitled to inherit, but he wasn't sure if they were entitled to take the extra portion as their father was a firstborn. So Moshe brought the case before Hashem. Hashem grants their requests and makes an exception to his own halachos and let them inherit their father's land. And Hashem continues, "Ve'el b'nei Israel tadaber lemor," and to the rest of the children of Israel you shall say, "Ish ki yomus uvein ein lo," if a man dies and he leaves no sons as an heir, as a general rule forever, "V'ha'avartem es nachaloso levito," then you shall transfer his inheritance over to his daughter. The Gemara in Sanhedrin, Kuf Yud Tes, teaches us, Bnos Zelophchad, Chachmonios Hayu, Darshonios Hayu, the Sidkonios Hayu. The daughters of Zelophchad were wise, they were able to expand and expound and learn Torah, and they were righteous. They understood the halachos. They knew the laws of inheritance. For example, in Perek Kaf Zayin, Posuk Daled, they said, "Ki ein lo ben." We know the situation is because our father didn't have a son. And the Gemara in Sanhedrin Kuf Yud Tes carries on to tell us, "L'kshelafi sha'a dibru." They spoke at an appropriate time. Moshe Rabbeinu Yoshev v'doresh b'parshas Yevamim. Moshe Rabbeinu was sitting and teaching and expounding the laws of Yibum, levirate marriages. The Rashbam teaches us they bided their time and they advanced their petition at the right moment when Moshe was teaching the laws of Yibum. This teaches us a very valuable lesson. If a person's got something they want to say or complain about, they have to choose the right words at the right time. So we can learn from the daughters of Zelophchad, if we want something, we have to choose the right time and the right place to ask. It's quite unbelievable that the daughters of Zelophchad came forward to complain about how the law is unfair. And not only does Hashem give them their request, he actually institutionalizes their request, making it an everlasting part of the laws of inheritance for the whole of Bnei Israel. There is another place in the Torah where a request is made of Moshe, and Moshe asks Hashem, and Hashem doesn't just say yes, but he codifies that into the law as well. And that story takes place also in the book of Bamidbar, in Perek Tes, the story of Pesach Sheini. If we look deeper, there's more to these stories that they share in common. In the story of Pesach Sheini, there were people who were Tamei, and they were not able to offer up the Korban Pesach in its right time. So they approached Moshe. In the story of Pesach Sheini and the story of Zelophchad's daughters, all of Bnei Israel get to participate in something. The story of Pesach Sheini is the Korban Pesach, and the story of Zelophchad's daughters is inheriting in the land. But in both cases, there's a small group that, due to circumstances beyond their control, they're being left out. And they approach Moshe and they say, "We don't want to be left out. We've got a fear of missing out. We've got FOMO." If you look closely at their requests and their plea that when they go and speak to Moshe, they share the same language. So the Tamei in the story of Pesach Sheini, they say, "Lomo nigara," why should we be left out? And the daughters of Zelophchad say, "Lomo yigara," why should our father's name be left out? It's virtually identical wording, and it's not used anywhere else in the Torah. Hashem grants the people who are Tamei the opportunity to offer up the Korban Pesach another time, and Hashem says about the Bnos Zelophchad in Bamidbar, Perek Kaf Zayin, Posuk Vov, Cain Bnos Zelophchad Dovros. The daughters of Zelophchad have spoken appropriately, and their claim is legitimate. Both Zelophchad's daughters and Pesach Sheini, in both stories, they petitioned Moshe because they didn't want to be left out from the rest of the nation. They didn't want to miss out on opportunity to participate in doing a mitzvah because of their individual circumstances. What are we worried about missing out on? Good Shabbos.